All right, Michael, welcome in. Ryan Tringer for your Class A Pro. I'm recording. So, as we were just talking about, you go to the range, and keep in mind the range balls are limited flight balls, first of all. So, the distance they go is not accurate, right? And then if the dimple pattern is destroyed, then the ball may curve when it normally wouldn't. You know what I mean? And so I've tested this with my flight monitor, even at Oak Creek, where I go and I bring it out there, and it was telling me that my shots were going 153 yards with my 7 iron, which I usually hit like 172. So it was off by that much, 20 yards of difference basically. And then the path and face readings I was getting, and then what the ball was doing were completely like off the charts. Meaning like it would say like my path and face was good, and then I would watch the ball do like this like crazy like movement in the air. And so that's why I was just asking about whether or not you're using the better golf balls for the longer clubs, because obviously as the clubs get longer, the side spin affects the ball more. So the idea would be to use the better balls for the clubs that have the least amount of backspin and the most side spin, because then you get like a closer to true reality. Now keep this in mind that you could go to the range and you could be hitting and you could think that like nothing's going well, but your form could actually be good if the range ball bucket you got was bad. You know what I'm saying? And so keep that in mind when you're out there. I go out there and I have like a specific objective that I'm working on. Like I'm sure you have been from our training, but like I'll go out there, be like, all right, I'm trying to work on a little bit more inside out path, or I'm trying to do better at square my face, or I'm trying. So I'm focusing on those things. So it's still worth going because you're working on motion, but just keep in mind that the range balls are telling you lies. The most recently, I was at Terrace Creek, and guess what? They have those new Top Golf sensors. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was crazy accurate, I thought. Now, here's the funny part. I knew the ball. Let me just share this real fast. I knew the ball wasn't actually traveling as far as it said, but they had like tuned it or whatever, so that like I hit my 7 iron like 171 to 173, and that's what it was saying. And I was like, the ball is definitely not going that far because I know it's a limited flight ball, but the sensor is telling me information that was actually good. And then even with my driver, it said my driver went 294, which is typical, I would say, for me. And if you're getting data like that, it can be productive with distances and stuff, but just always keep in mind that the range balls are not really actually giving you great data. Sometimes at the end of a bucket, I'll just take an old golf ball in my bag and hit that instead, and then it'll go straight, and I'll be like, oh, okay, you know.